Throughout my life, I've always been mostly social. Growing up, I seemed to get along with quite a few people, whether they were popular or if they were not. I mean, I wasn't popular at all, but I seemed to be kind of in the middle, if you know what I mean. Nowadays, it's gotten more to the point where it's hard to even associate with people anymore. A lot more people seemed to have developed this lack of warmth, like there's no longer any moral care for anything, really. People have gotten to the point where they don't care about their fellow man, they mainly just care about themselves. I understand why things are the way they are like this, though, especially when you have more stories out there about drama and about the lack of peace and the intense heartache of life itself. It also doesn't help that nowadays, when you have a job, you have to basically be cutthroat. You have to care about yourself pretty much. Now, don't get me wrong, I know this may sound like I'm saying never be selfish, but I am going to say something that I actually got advice from my boss about, which I definitely admire. Selfish is no longer a bad thing. Maybe there just has to be a different word for it. Maybe like self care. I know I've heard that word before, so that actually could be the best word. But being selfish is no longer a bad thing. There seems to be a good selfish and a bad selfish. You have people that are a bad selfish where they'll want to take advantage of you, they'll want to take their problems out on you, they'll want to twist things against you, and there's a chance that you may not even do anything to have them do that. They just do it automatically. They care more about what they can get from you than about you in general. I think that's part of the reason why there's a lack of warmth and soul from people nowadays. Many people are now more shut off from the idea of being around other people. I don't know how it's possible to even overcome this, or if it even can be overcome, especially with now the rising evolution of being able to do things more on your own with technology, with cars. You're even able to work from home now if you could. It's getting to the point where you don't even need people anymore. I think deep down we will always need people in some ways, but I feel like we don't need them as much as we used to. It's a little freaky, but maybe it's some kind of evolution now. I mean, right now in China, they are already creating humanoid robots. They aren't perfect, but the fact that we are here and AI is also here as quick as it was, things could just make a 180 turn in 10 years. It's hard to say whose fault it is. I don't even know if it really is any specific person's fault. Maybe as humans, we have gotten to the point where we have wanted things so bad that we have sacrificed humanity itself. Maybe the ones who are typically in charge designed it this way. Sometimes it does feel that way. Maybe there's a pendulum that will swing towards the way that would be good for humanity. Honestly, I hope it does. I was even hearing about the possibility of AI becoming so abundant that people won't even need to save money to retire. That seems like it could be a good thing, but of course, too much of anything can be a bad thing. At this point, even too much love could be a bad thing. Love could eventually turn to obsession, which of course isn't healthy, and it also inflicts mental damage upon the one who is being obsessed over. Anyway, even when people end up having the opportunity to actually socialize now, it seems to be getting harder to even find something to talk about, or even to have the care to find something to talk about in the first place. It's even getting harder for me to do so. When I first moved into my apartment, there are some people that I met who I don't regret meeting at all. In fact, I'm still friends with them today. I'm close friends with a guy in his early 60s and a guy in his early 40s. I also met some friends through them as well. I'll be honest, I can't remember their exact age off the top of my head, but I can definitely say that I don't regret meeting them at all. There was a third guy that I met, and I technically met my friends through him, but he had a lot of issues. I didn't know it at the time, of course, because I was under the impression that anyone older than me was wiser than me. I was the one who even initiated some kind of conversation by asking if he had mold in his apartment. And then one thing came to another, and I was over at his place checking for mold. At the time, I did not realize that I would actually be taking him to a rehab center because he was having alcohol withdrawals and an unstable girlfriend, or should I say, lady friend. After everything that happened, he ended up dying. He started throwing up in his sleep, and it got so bad that he ended up dying from it. There were other things that happened, but it's probably best I don't explain those things because there are some things that happened that I am ashamed about. But I was desperate for him to get help and feel better, but those things just didn't work out. Even before he passed, things were getting a lot worse, and I ended up being in a situation that I really wanted to get out of. And somehow the situation ended the way it did. There was another friend that I even met through him that I ended up communicating with after he died, and we were friends for about 2 years. But during that time, I realized that the friend I met through him was actually a selfish person who didn't know how to take no for an answer, and he was also unstable as well. He always liked to drink and party and smoke lettuce, and he also had like 3 part-time jobs. And now, from what I heard, he has no jobs. Now, all the while, his wife worked 2 full-time jobs. She works a full-time job and then she did DoorDash for like 8 hours. I knew over time that that was definitely not going to be the best thing to be around. There was one day when he sent me a text because he ended up going to a concert that I wasn't able to go to because I was tired from work. And it was a band that I really wanted to go see called Havoc. He ended up meeting the singer and the band. He sent me a text while I was in bed because I was so tired, and that's when I realized the guy doesn't care about me at all. He didn't even think that sending that picture would hurt my feelings, really, because I was already so tired from everything, like from work, and he just decided to send that photo. I was done, so I had to cut him off. With all of these things that just keep happening over and over, it's hard to actually even want to have more relationships with people now. There's the trauma, medications that people take, drama, all kinds of issues that at this point I don't even want to deal with anymore. I'd rather have a very select, small few people that I'd be around that are actually worth existing for. So, like I said before, I don't know where we're going as a society today, but all I can say is the best thing we can do is hope and pray. This is my own way 30, and thank you as always for listening. Like and subscribe if you like what you hear. Take care.